What's up, friends? Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another shopping vlog. Today I'm in beautiful sunny Miami and we're going to be checking out some of the best luxury vintage shops this city has to offer. We are talking designer bags, clothes, and shoes. I am on the hunt for some unique treasures and luxury steals, so let's see what the city has to offer. Let's go. You know, there's actually not that many vintage shops in Miami specializing in luxury or niche designer clothing. But let me tell you, I found one of the absolute best that I've ever visited right here in the heart of Wynwood. This boutique is called Capsule. It can be a little bit confusing because Capsule actually doesn't have a storefront. They have a private showroom that is accessible by calling and booking an appointment. But please, do not let this intimidate you because trust me, you will feel like a VIP in this warm and friendly environment with extremely reasonable prices. With designer pieces sourced from all over Europe, I would describe the selection at Capsule as being very consistently edgy and contemporary. I love that they curate high-end designers like Maison Margiela, Rick Owens, Dolce & Gabbana, just to name a few, with smaller, niche European brands that were hot in the 90s. Almost every piece is under $1,000, with most items being under $300 or $400. One of my favorite aspects of this boutique are their selection of leather pieces, and also furs and exotic skins. With the founder being from Argentina, they love their chic and edgy leathers. First, I tried on this pair of leather pleated pants. I actually ended up buying these because the leather on these was so buttery soft, and I love the grayish olive color. Also, it's often so hard to find a pair of leather trousers that fit just perfectly. And with these, I tried on this super cool oversized leather bomber jacket. Take a look at all of the hand-stitched detail throughout this jacket, which, by the way, also converts into a vest with these zippered sleeves. This was a little bit too big for me, but it was the perfect size for my bestie who was shopping with me, and she decided to get it. Next up, I tried on this sheer mint-colored shirt from a brand called Copine, I believe it's called. I decided to pick this one up as well because I just loved this color and how easy it is to pair with like some jeans or leather trousers for an interesting yet breathable look that can still be worn in the summertime. I also loved this little vintage fur vest. I can't remember the exact type of fur, but it was so soft and cozy, and I liked the different neutral colors that had been patchworked together to create the beautiful and organic pattern. I did pass on this, however, because I already have some similar vests that I need to wear more, and this was a good reminder to do so. What I did end up getting, however, is this long and epic leather matrix coat, or at least that's what I'm calling it. I love how dramatic this is. I can see this layering beautifully over my autumn and winter outfits with some boots or heels. I mean, what does this not go with? The funny thing also is that the shop owner actually had a real matrix coat in his own collection that he pulled out to show us, like a 1 of 100 produced by Warner matrix coat. So cool. I don't think that one is for sale, but I was happy with this one that I found. I also tried on this bright blue leather funky blazer. I like the oversized fit and broad shoulders of this piece, and the leather was very soft and comfortable. I did decide to pass on this one because it was just a little too big, but I did appreciate it. Capsule also has an insane collection of shoes. You can see here that many of them come in both interesting styles and also unique materials. My absolute favorite were these leather and python cowgirl boots. How cute are these? Since I live in Texas, these are a great all year round piece to wear with jeans and dresses, so I decided to take them home with me. They also had these amazing Margiela tabby boots. These treasures are made of dead stock fabric and feature a lucite block heel. I don't know where he finds this stuff, but these are the cool things that you will typically find at Capsule. I thought these were so epic and unique. Unfortunately, they were a little bit too small, so I hope that they found a very good home. Capsule is also known for upcycling pieces into new creations. So for example, this men's suit, which has been cut and altered to fit more of a Miami climate and vibe. Also right here, we have an evening gown with a little fur trim added, and also this vintage dress from the 80s, which has been altered into a 2-piece set. The skirt portion of this was way too big for me, but you can kind of get the vibe here with me modeling the cropped jacket portion of the ensemble. Another upcycled style that they regularly produce is the tabby top. This is a simple shirt made of dead stock Rick Owens fabric. It's supposed to be kind of like an apron style with a halter top, cinched waist, and an open back. I actually loved the feel of this fabric. It was very good quality and also the flattering fit for my petite torso, so I decided to pick it up. And lastly, I just wanted to highlight some of the super cool accessories like the retro watches, the jewelry, and the occasional vintage bag. Check out this vintage Mulberry Roxanne bag with the beautiful woven leather details. The next store is Peachtree Vintage, and I'm including this boutique because I think that this store will cater well to a certain demographic, and it is very well curated and merchandised for the style that they've gone for. But I'm not gonna lie, this store was a little bit of a fail for me, and I will tell you why. I am in my 30s, and it seems like Peachtree Vintage is curated for more of a much younger customer, probably somebody in college or like not too much older. This can be seen not only by the silhouettes chosen, but also because most of the clothes are like typical things that I wore in high school and are now being sold at a markup. A lot of the styles that I donned as a teenager are now trendy again. So it was kind of funny for me to see something like a Betsey Johnson party dress that we all died to have for sophomore semi being resold here for almost $300. So if you are my age, let's take a quick little trip down memory lane together. And if you are younger, let me show you how to be the coolest dressed girl in school. First, you need a cute bag to carry your razor phone, butterfly clips, and gel pens. And I recommend one from Juicy Couture. They had the iconic speedy style shape and cute little crossbody style that would look perfect for shopping with your mom at the mall. But my favorite is this patchwork one from Coach. Just perfect for spring with the pink and pea green accents. Next, you gotta get yourself a cute pair of jeans. I recommend this funky and stripy style from Delia's. Throwback! Comment down below if you remember Delia's. Or for a curvy fit, they also had an option from Baby Fat. I also thought that these green and blue ombre leather pants were pretty cool for $75. But let's stay on track because you have a dance coming up and you came here to find that perfect party dress that just oozes sophistication. For my girly girls, you gotta go with this Betsey Johnson corset dress, which is just covered in adorable little rosettes that scream spring fling queen. And for something a little bit more serious, there's also this black satin Betsey Johnson option with lacy frilly trim for $450. But in all seriousness, guys, Peachtree does do a great job of curating this aesthetic, and they did have some pieces that I was drawn to. They had a little rack of Roberto Cavalli and Just Cavalli items in the corner, and I loved this long dress that was painted with beautiful butterflies, flowers, and swirls. There was also this leather jacket with kind of like a distressed finish that was really cute, but maybe a little bit overpriced compared to other boutiques. We also have here a little vintage Burberry top, and I'm not sure what brand this is, but I thought that this pink suede skirt was also kind of cool. Peachtree also had a small selection of leather jackets. These ranged in price, and I will mention most of them were the kind of like heavy biker style if that's what you're in for. If you're looking for some Harley Davidson merch, they've got you. They also have a couple of cute designer shoes, I might add. There was a pair of classic Chanel pumps in my size for about $300. I like the classic toe cap and lattice detail on these. Also, here's a pair of embroidered Prada slimbacks. These feel very 90s to me, but in the best way. We've also got some cute loafers from Coach, and finally, some classic Gucci horsebit pumps. While I didn't find anything to take home at Peachtree, I did enjoy a little blast from the past, and I can appreciate the curation, even though I've grown out of a lot of these styles. Next, I headed to the Consignment Bar, and I actually think that this is the best vintage option in Miami if you're looking for more traditional luxury designer styles. Not as young as Peachtree and not as edgy and cool as Capsule. This boutique has a great selection of not only clothes, but also shoes and handbags. Let's take a look. And let's start off with the shoe bar. They had so many cute options here, particularly for heels and going out shoes. I mean, it is Miami after all. I love these Jimmy Choo platform heels with kind of like a disco print and some very interesting velvet Dries Van Noten boots with a lucite heel. And I have never seen anything like these two-tone Fendi Stingray pumps. Oh my goodness, guys, I thought that these were so cool and I would have totally tried them on if they were just a little bit bigger for my feet. Here we have some Prada patent leather heeled loafers, and also from Prada, I really like these sandals that featured a mixture of both cork and snakeskin. In fact, the Consignment Bar had a lot of shoes and interesting leathers. I thought that these snakeskin Ferragamo pumps were absolutely stunning and classic while still being quite unique. Now let's take a look at some of the clothes. One of the things that I noticed about this boutique is that the prices here are very high. But the other thing that I learned is that the price that you see on the tag isn't necessarily what they will charge you. I would recommend taking a look at what you like, trying it on, seeing what you want to get, and then sharing your budget with the sales associate, because most of the time they can accommodate a better price, especially if you are looking to buy a few things at once. They can usually give you a better deal. But anyway, let's take a look at this stunning silk YSL bow blouse that I spotted. I love vintage silk blouses because I swear the quality of the material feels so much better than what I can find today. I love this rich golden color, and if you look closely, you'll see little YSL logos weaved into the fabric. I just had to take this one home with me. It was so beautiful and so my style. Another piece that I decided to get is this Tom Ford era leather bow blouse. Can you tell that I like bow blouses? I mean, obviously I would style this differently at home, but there's just something so cool and sleek and sexy about Tom Ford Gucci that I just love. I also found this dress from Gucci in a pretty kind of like olivey taupe color with laced up sides. I love this dress for all the same reasons, but sadly, it wasn't really the best fit for my body, and I really hope it found a good home. For something a little more girly, we also have an Alexander McQueen dress, perfect for work, brunch, or church. I also love the summery look of this Pucci dress that would be great for a vacation or an afternoon in Miami. Similarly, we have here a flowy Lanvin printed dress. I think some of these are a little overpriced for resale, but again, I would recommend asking about the price to the shop if there's something that you like. And they even had here a couple of Fendi pieces. Here's a simple and classic dress, kind of similar to the one from McQueen. And my favorite one was this kind of flowy boho prairie dress is what I'm calling it. I totally remember this runway collection, and I thought this dress was so beautiful, but sadly, it was like super big on me and the color really washes me out. I would love to find something similar to this in another color someday. The Consignment Bar even had a bunch of Chanel pieces available. My favorite was this rich royal blue tweed blazer. This is so good. It actually was pretty fairly priced for this style and condition, but I wasn't really ready to spend that much on one item. Some of my other Chanel favorites from this store were this pearl detailed jumper that says Chanel, and also this adorable tweed jumper dress. And guys, how cool is this John Galliano era Dior jacket? This is made of kind of like a chambray material with beautiful lace inserts and a ribbon trim. This is so much cooler to me than what the house is designing today. And it's also great if you need kind of like a more breathable jacket for warmer weather, if you live in Miami, or just a warmer weather climate in general. I also loved the skirt selection at the Consignment Bar. I believe that this snakeskin one was also Gucci. Not positive, it wasn't in my size, but it is very cute. And then I want to say that this skirt was Celine. It was one of the French brands, sorry. Oh my goodness, I love this leather skirt with the peplum detail. Unfortunately, it was just a little bit too small for me and my big butt, so instead I decided to go with this beautiful Alaya skirt in a similar material and style. I think that a leather pencil skirt is such a classic piece to pair with blouses and some heels, and I really like the kind of like geometric shape detail on this one. It really draws the eye into the waist. And lastly, let's take a look at the handbags. The bags at the Consignment Bar, they're a little bit hit or miss. I first tried on this beautiful cerulean blue Bottega hobo bag. I love the color and the style of this bag, but I'm not sure if you can see it on camera. It's actually pretty worn down and not in great condition at all, and it was being sold for like a few $100s, which it's way too much for this pre-loved style. I'm very familiar with what these go for, but they did have some cute styles from my favorite brand, Fendi. Here is a classic vintage Fendi baguette in the monogram print. You can probably tell that unfortunately this one is also kind of scratched up. They also had a beautiful large sunshine shopper tote. This was in beautiful condition, but also, once again, being sold for much higher than market price for such an item. I like the selection of the little Fendi monster charms that they had. These are actually not a bad price considering the exorbitant cost that you would pay for one new at the boutique today. Overall, I really like the wide selection of wearable items and styles at the Consignment Bar. My favorites were definitely the clothes and the shoes, as long as you can get a reasonable price. As for the handbags, I think you're probably better off visiting a site or store like Rebag, Fashion profile or the real that is more of a bag specialist for a wider selection and more competitive prices. And lastly, we headed over to Miami twice. A little bit out of the way, but definitely worth the visit. This is a very interesting store because it's kind of like a mixture of new clothing, pre-loved designer items, and just heaps of vintage clothes from every single decade. In fact, while we were there, several ladies visited looking for like decade-inspired outfits for themed Miami parties. Shout out to the owner, Mary, who was so welcoming and has been running the store with her family for many years. Her staff were so helpful and freely let us explore her rotating rack of vintage clothing treasures. As opposed to the more curated styles of Capsule or Peachtree, for example, Miami Twice is a big store with a lot of options. You never really know what you're going to find here, and they are particularly known for their big luxury bag selection. Up here you can see they have a pretty good selection of Lady Dior bags, including the wicker and tie-dye styles. Down below we have some saddlebags and a couple of woven styles such as the book totes. I particularly liked, however, some of the more vintage ones. The best one being this John Galliano era Dior Rasta crossbody bag. Throwback, guys! They also have a wide selection of Gucci items, particularly in the Marmont styles, in several shapes and a variety of colors, not to mention a ton of Gucci Marmont belts. But my favorite is this Tom Ford era Gucci Jackie bag. This is such a timeless style, and the buckle during this era gives it a very sleek and edgy look, in my opinion. There also were a couple of Fendi bags. I really like this Mama Baguette with the resin buckle and chain handle. This style is really coming back this year, and I really like the style of the original models. There's also another Sunshine shopper tote, and you can probably spot there as well a pretty interesting looking spy bag. Once again, I was seriously blown away by the selection here, which isn't really typical for a local vintage shop. We have some classic Prada tote styles available, and also a very nice selection from YSL. There is also Louis Vuitton galore at Miami Twice, especially if you're interested in the canvas styles. They have every shape and size to choose from, not only for bags, but also small leather goods like wallets and pochettes. I was actually really surprised they even had a couple of Murakami multicolored bags still in stock. Those are kind of hard to find these days, especially in such good condition. The owner even brought out one of her favorites, this stunning embellished frame bag from the 2023 Spring Summer Louis Vuitton show. Again, there are some very high-end bags in their collection, but I thought compared to the pre-loved market, these were very fairly priced and in very good condition. And while there were only a couple of bags, Miami Twice actually had a beautiful collection of Hermes accessories. This would be a good place to look for like a vintage scarf, or even a belt from Hermes at a more affordable price. Everything looked to be in very nice condition as well. One of my absolute favorite pieces in the store is this Swift leather Kelly cut in one of my favorite Hermes colors, Rouge Kozakh. Be still my heart. This is such a beautiful clutch bag, and I must say, pretty well priced at $600 for Hermes. I know that's a lot of money, but I am seeing these go for more like $9 to $11K on pre-loved sites. Now let's take a look at the Miami Twice Chanel collection. They had a bunch of beautiful costume jewelry to choose from: earrings, necklaces, bracelets, brooches, and chain belts. And my goodness, did they have a lot of Chanel bags. I was surprised, both in classic materials and also really fun bright pops of color. One of my faves was this orangey red striped raffia flat bag. This is just so summery and delicious, just perfect for Miami or like, I don't know, a bougie holiday that I don't even have planned. I also am obsessed with this color combination of the bright cerulean blue with the gold hardware on this small classic flap. I have been looking for a Chanel bag in this color for quite a while. I was so tempted to get this one, but it was a little bit outside my budget for this trip, although once again, fairly priced for the market. I am also such a huge sucker for the Chanel Lucky Charms reissues bags. While they didn't have a full bag style here, they did have this adorable little mini bag with the ruthenium hardware that is just so darling. Such a fun and whimsical way to wear a little piece of Chanel. They also had some beautiful vintage Chanel styles. I know a lot of people prefer the like new bags, but I really really love the shiny and luxe look of the worn-in vintage Chanel leather, especially the lambskin. And of course, this is back when the bags featured the 24-karat gold-plated hardware. You can't beat that. And since this is Miami after all, they also had some more novelty Chanel bags, I guess you could call it. Here's a slouchy and casual crochet style from one of the summer collections, and also a stunning white pearl boy bag in almost pristine condition, I must say. The owner also pulled out from the back this adorable and smooshy crochet shoulder bag. I love the combo of the white and blue and just the overall cool look of this bag. It was so cute. It would go great with some casual summer beach outfits. While they definitely have a great selection of handbags, I also want to show you some of the special vintage clothes that I found while hunting around at Miami twice. There are some really cool pieces here, like these intricately beaded cardigans, and also a very lovely selection of fur coats and stoles. One item that I decided to pick up is this beautiful leather jacket with a tie waist and a fur torso. I think it is so cool and unique how the fur has been arranged in kind of like a diamond patchwork design. I've never really seen anything like this, and the owner Mary said that this is one of her favorite pieces in the store as she hasn't seen anything quite like it, and she was really happy that it was going to a good home. I also tried on this fun and colorful butterfly dress that looks like, maybe it's like from the 80s, I think. I still kind of wish that I had gotten this one. I know it's a little bit over the top, but I don't know. I love this kind of classic retro shape and playful print. What I did end up getting, however, is this other sort of 80s era dress with a super fun and dramatic fringe detail. Please excuse my socks and the complete lack of styling here, but I think that this would be so cute with some heels and a little bag. I've already styled it up at home and I love the style of this dress. I mean, who doesn't love a good little black dress? And I particularly like the flattering draping and scooped neckline of this piece. While I didn't find anything in my size, there's also a wide array of luxury vintage clothing at Miami twice. Here we have a little classic Burberry trench coat with check lining, and an Alexander McQueen jacket featuring some beautiful tailoring and waist cinching silhouette. I really liked a lot of the jackets, such as this colorful checked Gucci blazer, or even this one from Christian Dior, which you might see is accented with little flowy silk lapels. Not to mention a beautiful hot pink sculpted number from Mugler. There's even a little corner featuring exclusively Chanel vintage ready to wear. I think my favorite piece was this white tweed blazer with ribbon closures. If you look closely, you will notice a beautiful rainbow of colors that has been woven into the tweed to give it some extra special personality while keeping the style still very classic. I love it. I also really love this classic little sweater dress with the fur bottom, a black jacket embroidered with little camellia flowers, very, very Chanel, and this thicker brown tweed jacket with decorative buttons. Thank you so much to all of the boutiques featured in this video for hosting me in their stores and making this such a fun shopping experience. I will leave all of their details down below in the description box just in case you want to check out their online shops or pay them a visit next time you're in Miami. If you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, or better yet, check out my vintage shopping series. Up next, we are going shopping at the best vintage shops in New York City. I'll see you there.